Welcome to Popcorn and Pals, the podcast where we talk about all sorts of movies, good and bad, and we give you our completely unqualified takes on them. He's Zach, I'm Justin, and today we're talking about the quote-unquote classic romantic comedy from 1940 starring Katharine Hepburn, Cary Grant, and James Stewart. It's The Philadelphia Story. Zach, how are we doing?
That is a perfect intro.
Good.
I love it. Doing good. How are you doing?
Good. We're coming off of Thanksgiving, so we got a lot to talk about with this movie.
Yeah, I said 6 days with my parents. anything to get a break. Parents, grandkids, everywhere. Yeah.
It's Thanksgiving's always a funny time.
Yeah.
But good Thanksgiving all around.
Yeah. How about you?
Yeah, same here. We had a great Thanksgiving, stayed in town, didn't do anything, and that's all you can hope for. No travel on Thanksgiving, I think, is pretty incredible.
Yeah, we hosted as well, and it was a lot of work, but it's fun. All right. So your intro, I thought, beautifully explained the podcast to new listeners and everything. I, like last week, I wrote another synopsis of the movie.
I can't wait to hear it.
I'm just curious what you talk about. So this is the Philadelphia Story, right? So here's my synopsis. A divorced socialite cheats on her fiancé the night before her wedding and then leaves him for her drunk, abusive ex-husband.
Perfect. Couldn't have said it better myself. Yes.
So that was my take on what I thought. How to sum this movie up, quickly.
Yeah, you summed it up beautifully. It's an interesting movie. It's almost 100 years old.
Have you had any relationship to this movie before you watched it?
None. I had never heard of it until you brought it up. I don't really dabble in like older black and white movies, so this wasn't even on my radar.
Yeah, no, I picked this movie because one, it was not on my radar at all either. I knew of it. I picked it because it had Katharine Hepburn, Cary Grant, and James Stewart in it, which are like three icons. And so like just to get ourselves more familiar with older movie stars, I'm like, well, there's like, there's three right away right there.
Mm-hmm.
And then also I wanted to like test whether or not we could talk about a movie from like 1940.
Absolutely.
My wife and I was kind of inspired me to do this podcast a little bit. We're like watching a bunch of old movies, trying to fill our back catalog of like AFI's greatest 100 movies and all that stuff. And I had watched several old ones and I found myself enjoying them a lot more than I thought I was going to. And so it makes me kind of curious to see what you thought actually about this movie.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think there's so many things to talk about. One, I think we could have probably 5 episodes to discuss everything about this movie, and probably a lot of older movies too, because it's not just this particular one. I think it's just a sign of the times. But yeah, it was, like I said, this movie, this is coming from a guy who thinks Lord of the Rings is the greatest thing ever committed to film. So this was, I'll be honest, this was a tough watch.
Really?
It was tough for me, but it was entertaining in a lot of ways.
Sure.
So this movie, I think the runtime is like just shy of 2 hours. Yeah. It took me 4 to watch it. Okay. 1, I was getting interrupted by my toddler, but 2, because I had to stop and take so many notes. Because I think these older movies, you have to pay attention very hard. I feel like a lot of modern movies, you can kind of tune it out and like listen in the background and then pay attention 15 minutes later and be fine. Mm-hmm. But these older ones, you really have to commit to them.
No, they don't hold your hand as much.
No, they do not.
And also too, I think, which we'll get into, right? But like the lexicon, right? Like the way they talk. Mm-hmm. I don't know what accent all 3 of them have, but they don't exist today, right?
Yeah.
And like either that mid-Atlantic accent, I have no idea what James Stewart's accent is.
Yeah,
it's like a southern kind of drawl, but it's like
he has like a whistle on his S's. Yeah, it's incredible.
Like folksy, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, and even I think, coming at it from like a script perspective, like it's so dialogue between characters. It's almost like they spar with each other.
No, it reminded me a lot. The writing, I think the writing is the best part of this movie. That was like one of my first notes. I think it's very clever. Mm-hmm. And it's very clear, too, that it came from a play. Mm-hmm. Because it's almost shot in like 5 acts. Like I was like trying to break where scenes end and where scenes begin for our best scenes category. And really I was like, they kind of like, it's like you have like one chunk that just like keeps flowing into itself, then it'll stop. Then it'll have like, a couple hours later, and then it'll do another chunk that it's like just scenes that just flow into each other.
Yeah.
So you can really tell that it was set up from a play or maybe just a different age and how movies are written. Now there'd be like 37 scenes cut between things, it's a very interesting experience.
Yeah.
All right, before we get too deep into it, first things first, credits at the start of the film. How much did you love that or hate that?
I actually thought it was really impressive. The whole time watching the credits, which I feel like I've done this with other older movies, is sitting there wondering how they did it.
Yeah.
Because everything is digital nowadays. But like back then, like, did somebody handwrite these? Did they hand create all of the backdrops for the credits? I will give it that. It's impressive. Especially like before we started recording and we were talking about like some of the fun facts behind this movie. They shot it in a month.
Yeah.
Which just seems wild that they were able to do that. But I'm sure that.
Yeah, but it's not like 6 locations, it's like everything is real in camera, which I was like, one of my notes later too, I'm like initial thoughts was like, it feels tangible where they're at. With the exception of like when they're driving the car, like they got the green or the projector behind them.
Yeah.
But besides that, like it feels so tangible. Like the Moana trailer just came out, the live action Moana one. Have you seen it yet?
I feel like
I could
no
care less about it, but like nothing about that trailer feels real.
It's all green screen.
It's like, I don't even know what it is. It's just glossy and plasticky and
yeah.
And one thing I was like, you can tell it's like very classic Hollywood, right? They got like the fuzz around the ladies and like it's the way it's shot. Like you can tell like everyone is getting hit with the spotlight when they're talking, right? But like there's still a tangibleness to it that I don't think is captured as easily anymore the way we shoot films today, which is like the Avengers is like none of them are even in the same room when they're doing a battle scene together, right? They're just
they're
whichever one can like get into the green screen box that day, that's who they're scheduling, right? Yeah. So it's like, but for me, the opening credits, that was like the first 3 minutes. I think I took so many notes, and because the movie starts off just wild, which we'll get into in a second here, but and just like way out of context for modern days, I think too.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how you would remake this movie today. You'd have to change some things, I feel like, just to make the ending seem palatable.
Yeah.
But I've watched, like I said, I was saying earlier, I watched like a lot of old movies lately, and like the credits at the beginning. Yeah, maybe how they did it. I don't know. I don't care. I want them at the end of the movie. Like, let's get going. The movie drives me crazy where they did it in like modern context is like the Raimi Spider-Man movies.
Oh, yeah.
The credits are so long in the beginning. And the X-Men movies did the same thing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I get it, guys. It's great that those people are important or whatever, but put them at the end of the movie. Let's get going. Let's jump into it. I think there was like a George Lucas invention. It was like, skip the credits, go straight into the movie. And yeah, I'm all about it.
Yeah. No, I mean, like, that's what modern movies do. So many of them hook you as soon as you start turning it on. But I mean, like, I feel like, I don't know, this is probably, talking out of my butt because I have no idea. But I feel like back then you were much more involved, I think. Nowadays, like modern movies, they need something to compete with everything else that's out there, So it's like, but no, I completely hear you. That intro crawled. It's impressive. It's impressive with like, because I'm sure that like all those like hand-drawn background scenes and stuff, but
yeah, they had like it was like a negative film or something like that, like something you would do with like one click of a button now. But it was interesting that they chose that aesthetic.
Yeah,
I don't know if it says anything, but it was interesting.
Yeah.
All right, do you want to or do you have any other?
No, I was going to say, let's
start comparing some notes.
Why don't we start with that whiplash of a scene of that opening?
I said, within the first 15 seconds, physical abuse, and within the first 10 minutes, sexual abuse. That was my note I wrote down.
Yeah.
It's like, your thoughts.
Yeah. I mean, like that opening scene. So when Tracy kicks Dexter out, I mean, I thought it was perfect that she threw down, I think it was like his collection of smoking pipes. I'm pretty sure that's what it was. Because what man in today's world has a collection of smoking pipes?
In the bag that she threw out?
No, not in the bag. She
okay.
threw it down
Those
first.
are golf clubs, I think.
She did have golf clubs, and that was another point too, because those golf clubs were wooden, and she snapped one over her leg. But then after that, Tracy walks away, and Dexter follows behind her and acts like he's going to hit her. Closed fist. Like, I made a hard note of that. Closed fist. Not a slap or anything like that.
It didn't look like he had a lot of leverage in it, but yeah.
It doesn't matter. He had that thing. He had that thing cocked back. He was ready to punch. But then, he shoves her backwards. I would actually like to see the behind the scenes because he actually shoved her. Hopefully there was like a mattress or something to catch her fall. But I mean, behavior that is absolutely criminal by today's standards. But back then, it was just,
Well, they keep bringing it up in the film. They're like, did he sock her? Did he do this? And she's like, I hope she gets into her little sister's like, I hope she gets another one. And I'm like, everyone's like, no, boys are boys. Like that's like, I think one of the themes of this movie is like, boys are boys. You can't do anything about them.
Yeah. Yeah. The humor, I think, is one of the sticking points on like why. Okay. Like approaching this from the standpoint of like, we know this was a different era of life and Hollywood, but the humor was tough. It is a lot of like degrading women.
Yeah.
There's racial slurs on there.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think there was a few jokes that I was like, all right, that's good. Mostly, James Stewart doing them. But, it like the call this a comedy in modern context for people who are not like experienced in like, or love this era of filmmaking and like can put aside some of the historicalness of it.
The bad stuff.
Yeah. It is a little, you kind of get caught up in like, I was like, okay. I'm telling you, I was going to bring up, because like one of the tropes in this movie is like secret reporters, or like, the reporters are like, they're hiding their identity to try to get the scoop. And I've watched a lot of old movies. That is a really common trope in this period, because like It Happened Last Night is another romantic comedy. It's quite a bit older, I believe, than even this film. But he's a secret reporter. Then the movie Roman Holiday with Audrey Hepburn and Gregory Peck, he's a secret reporter in that one. I'm like, this secret reporter trope, I'm like, it's just interesting, because I'm like, what am I trying to say here? It's like, it's so dishonest and so like, and they use it to like, like most of the time they're like falling in love with the person they're manipulating, or the person that they're manipulating is falling in love with them. Yeah. And it just feels kind of gross.
Yeah.
And this movie, I think, handles it much better than the first two I mentioned, even though I actually really, really like Roman Holiday, but like those ones keep the charade up much longer.
Yeah.
And where this one, like, I will say, like, Katharine Hepburn's character uses it, like the charade, she uses it to show how, or the writer uses it to show how smart she is, right?
Yeah.
But anyways.
Yeah, like speaking of the tropes and stuff, because you're right. Like that, having like secret undercover reporter.
Yeah, undercover reporter is a better word than secret reporter.
that's not like something that I feel like modern audiences are going to be like, oh yeah, I want to go and see that. Like, but I also like researching into all of this. Apparently this was like a whole subgenre of movies that was like popular back then. Because divorce was very taboo. It was like, you don't do that back then. So this is subgenre of movies of couples getting divorced, kind of flirting with other people, and then getting remarried at the end was apparently very popular. I don't know what other movies did it.
Yeah.
But it's very bizarre, because like I will say this. Not knowing anything about this, I did not see the ending coming.
No, that's one of my notes when we get to the best scenes at the end. I was like, at this point in the movie, when I'm about to watch the last scene, or there's not even the last scene, but they're waking up the night after, after everything goes down, and everyone's hungover, and I legitimately was like, I have no idea how this movie's going to end.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm like, I don't know. She's going to get in a fight. People are like, I'm like, the context of like what is considered an affair or like forgivable is just so different than our paradigm. I was legitimately like, I have no idea where this movie's going to go.
Yeah, no, I didn't either.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I had an idea that she was not going to marry George, especially when they got into like the argument and stuff.
Yeah, he's the lamest one of them, of the three.
I mean, poor George. He got just run over by everybody.
But he is kind of like a fool too.
For sure. Yeah. Absolutely. But yeah, like when Tracy is calling off the wedding, I did not see her and Dexter getting remarried.
No, he's a dick the
entire time. You know, I actually was like,
I'm telling you, if we watch It Happened Last Night, it's Clark Gable in that one.
Yeah,
dude is a dick. A whole movie, just degrading and demeaning to her. And it's Claudia Claudette, I think is how you say her name. And then at the end of the movie, and the whole movie, she's like, "Yo, just the meanest." And at the end of the movie, she's like, well, "I've fallen in love with you," and I'm like, "Wait, when?"
Yeah,
but different time. You know?
Yeah.
And Clark Gable is very handsome. So is Cary Grant.
I actually had a note. I'm not trying to jump ahead here, but I had a note because I thought Dexter was about to have the greatest character arc in history. Because towards the end of the movie, he actually seems like he kind of starts to redeem himself. He goes out of his way to try to save Tracy's family from like the blackmail by blackmailing the blackmailer and getting back at Kid. Is it a magazine or a newspaper?
Spy magazine or Sky magazine.
Yeah. But like, so he wants to like go out of his way to help her family. He tries to...
Yeah, Mr. Darcy's it.
Yeah. He tries to at least like minimize the damage between Connor and Tracy having I guess they called it an affair. It was a kiss.
A couple kisses in a late night swim.
Right. But like he tries to minimize all of that with George, with Connor. And like he actually seems like he's doing what's best for Tracy and everybody else involved. But then at the end, that plot twist comes, they get remarried, and it's like, holy shit, no, this was his plan the entire time, is to get back with Tracy. And I thought for sure we were about to have like the greatest character arc, and he was going to be like the best guy. But it fizzled out, and this movie surprised me.
Well, so like that brings up a couple things that like I kept seeing the research, so I think we have to like say it just to have it said. But like, so one, this was like a comeback vehicle for Katharine Hepburn, right? That she kind of orchestrated herself, which is super cool. I don't have a lot to say about it. There's like 1,000 things online about it, right? She talks about it. There's AMC Movies talks about it. I don't have much to say on it that hasn't been already said, but wanted to mention it. The other thing I think was interesting, and they talked more about, which I was like, we need to like, if we watch another old movie from this time period, to do more research into, but like the Hays Code, it's like, it was like a list of Hollywood rules that you had to abide by. And it was very reminiscent of, what was it in comic books? Remember they had like a code in comic books, the Comic Book Code Authority, I think it was where like you couldn't have violence, you couldn't have blood, you couldn't have, sex or whatever in them. And so they wrote like around them. That's why there's so many robots and things in comic books. And this was the same thing. They had the Hays Code back in the 40s, 50s. I think it was kind of done with in the 60s and 70s, which is why the movies get a lot more riskier.
Yeah.
And so they had to write around it. And like one of the rules was like, if you had a divorced person in it, they had to remarry that person by the end of the film.
Oh.
So that's why they had this genre where they would do that so they could show the promiscuousness during it, but then they had to end it in a way that like the Hays Code allowed. So it's just why, if I didn't know that, it was in my research, I was like this code thing seems really interesting. Total product of the time. That like, all right, do you want to start? Do you have any other thoughts?
No, I mean like...
Before we get into the scenes and everything?
Yeah. No, let's get into the scenes. Because I think overall that about sums it up.
We're going to do categories or superlatives. We talked about it last week, but just as a refresher, we are going to do a few of them. There's best scene, best character, worst character, what's aged the best, what's aged the worst, which I think they'll be, aged the worst one I think will be interesting. And then what are they talking about? What the fuck are they talking about? WTF. I get a lot on that one too.
Yeah.
Would this, could there be a sequel? What happened the next day, kind of thing. And then we'll have hot takes and nitpicks, which I have a lot on that one as well.
Yeah.
So we'll start with best scene. Last time, I just started rattling down scenes kind of chronologically.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to take the same approach? Or do you have any ideas?
Yeah, we'll just jump around and see where the wind takes us.
All right. I did skip in my list kind of like all the opening stuff. So I didn't put the push or slap or whatever in there. I didn't really even put like the introduction of Mike, Connor, and Ingrid, where they're in the editor's office getting the assignment and all that stuff, or the introduction of pervy Uncle Willie. So I skipped all that stuff. I think it's great. There's like things to talk about. I just thought like the movie to me like really picked up when they all got to the house.
Yeah, exactly. No, I completely agree.
So the first scene, just to kind of rattle off, and again, like I did not do a good job of this movie kind of figuring out where scenes ended and scenes began. It was almost like 5 acts.
Yeah.
So, or 6 acts. So I put, this was just my notes on this scene, and then we can break down the pieces or talk about whatever we want. But just to break the scene down itself where I ended it. So, Dexter, Mike, Ingrid all show up at the Lord's house, right?
Who is Ingrid?
Ingrid is the photographer.
Liz?
Shit.
Liz.
Who's Ingrid?
I don't think there's an Ingrid. I think it's Liz.
Liz, thank you. All right. So Dexter, Mike, and Liz arrive at the house. Mike and Liz, they go exploring the house. Tracy immediately, Dexter comes to Tracy. She immediately sees through the ruse. Then Dinah goes and sings a song, which Lydia, maybe that's for Lydia, theme song to our podcast.
Hey, it wasn't bad. Yeah, I remember it.
And then Tracy, she comes in and then asks them all the questions, kind of puts them on the back foot. And then lastly, the scene kind of ends with like the Uncle Willie switch to pretending to be the father, and then the dad arrives and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where so it's like, there's a lot going on in there.
It does.
And it's really like 4 scenes kind of just bleeding one into the other.
Yeah, they flow into everything. Yeah, no, I thought, I had a note towards the end of that because it's right before this big lunch that they're going to have. And I thought because they introduce all the characters, all the players are here. And there's this really fun dynamic of what you were describing about is like these reporters who are acting like they're undercover, but it's known that they're undercover by Tracy and her family. So they're putting on a charade. Uncle Willie's pretending to be her dad and all this stuff, right? And so it sets it up like they're going to go have this like super awkward lunch. And then it just stops. And you don't get to see any of it.
No.
And I was actually really disappointed because I was like, okay, that seems like a prime time to have like some comedy or like whatever. Like that would have been a very interesting scene now that like all the players are in the same room.
Well, it's the one scene that would have existed where the dad is pretending to be Uncle Willie too.
Yeah.
Which we never see really.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it was really interesting because you get to see everybody. And then one of my favorite scenes is also kind of tucked up in this whole rigmarole of scenes. But you get to know each of these characters. You get to kind of see their quirks, who they are. And then it's like after that, you really kind of hit the ground running. It's a good intro for everybody.
Yeah. It made me really like Katharine Hepburn's character because I felt like she had a good, at this point in the movie, she has good command and good agency. You can tell that she was the Broadway actor for the play, and she's done it like 400 times. It's because it's it feels very natural for her.
Yeah. More
so even than the other characters, I think, in it.
Yeah. So my favorite scene, like I said, was kind of like wrapped up in there. It was so short, but I thought it was perfect. So it's when Connor and Liz first get there and they're just kind of poking around. They're told to wait in was it the West Wing or something or East Wing?
Yeah.
And they keep making jokes about how the house is like too swank and all that stuff. But Connor, he's just being nosy and he's walking around. I think he finds, I'm assuming it's like a wedding gift reception table.
Yeah.
Table with all this stuff, right? He picks up a fork. I think he picks up like a necklace and he's like making comments to himself. And then he looks over and he sees like a waiter just like staring at him, kind of glaring at him. And he like puts it down. And he's like, I wasn't going to take it in his weird accent. And then he like backs away and he opens his coat so that the waiter can see that
So
there's nothing. Yeah. And then he just leaves. But I thought it was perfect because like you're talking about like some of the humor is really different from modern standards of humor, but like that scene was kind of timeless. He truly was funny when he like opened up his coat and everything. And I thought that was a great intro into Connor and just kind of how kind of goofy he is.
That one, and then when the daughter or the sister Dinah comes out and she's singing the Lydia song, and the two of them are like just befuddled by her, and Liz like asked him like what's wrong with her, and he's like, I think she's an idiot. That got me. I was like, all right. I'm sure idiot in that time meant like something different than it does today.
Yeah,
but I thought it was pretty funny.
Yeah. No, a lot of that intro stuff was really good.
Yeah,
I think
it sets all the characters up well.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Honestly, probably the person who gets the least to do is Cary Grant's Dexter character
in the beginning.
Yeah, in the beginning, and he's probably the most like his personality doesn't come out, and that's probably because he's more playing the charade. He's playing the stoic ex-husband who's, the movie wants you to think like he has like a heart of gold that he's protecting them, but we don't know that at that point. So I think it's kind of like not revealed till later.
Yeah. I mean, like I think outside of like that intro scene, because after that, that's where it seems like a lot of like Dexter's plan starts to come into focus. You see him just being the world's biggest butthole, like to Tracy.
Yeah, that's like starts up with like the library scene.
Yeah,
where she's reading Mike's book. That's my next. I had like as the next scene, I had like reading Mike's book. Then they come back to go get in the pool. Dexter's just really shitty to her, and then he gives her the boat, right? And then she goes over to his father, and then her father berates her as really shitty to her. So it's just like a whole like series like that, like kind of act is just like her kind of get like the movie wants to take her down a peg.
Yeah.
It's in my eyes, it's so unwarranted, and they're just huge jerks to her. But anyways, so I just want to set that scene, that whole series of scenes up.
No. Yeah. So I think my next favorite scene outside of that short one with Connor was after the drunken party. Connor goes to Dexter's house. He gets the cab to take him to Dexter's house. And at first, it almost seems like he even makes a comment to Dexter about how he's going to sock him or Dexter's going to sock Connor. Like almost like they're adversaries or, they're definitely not buddies. But then they kind of have like this come together moment where they concoct this plan to blackmail Kid and, save Tracy's family. That whole scene I thought was really fun to watch because then you have these two guys who they're not like enemies, but they're not friends. And they jump on the same side together. And then it's like they kind of have some bro time. And they just sit there and Connor tells, some blackmail story about Kid while Dexter jots it all down. But I think that it was a nice breath of fresh air from like the degradation of Tracy and all of the horrible things.
No, not to go back to both of those two scenes where the dad just dresses her down and Dexter dresses her down. But they're just like their problem with her is that she holds herself to a high standard. She holds other people to a high standard. And then when they're being the absolute worst, abusive or drunk in Dexter's case, and then like cheating on her mother in her dad's case, they're like, well, you just can't, you're just holding people to too high of a standards. If anything, it's your fault.
Yeah, didn't he?
No, the dad was like, literally like, it's your fault. You're too young, I'm too old, and that makes me want to cheat. And I'm like, what are you talking about?
How did we reach this conclusion?
And the mom's like, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm like, and she's like crying like, I guess you're right, Dad. And then she forgives him at the end. Not to jump to the end, but she forgives him. And I'm like, don't forgive this guy.
He's terrible.
He's awful.
He's horrible. He justified his affair and blamed it on his daughter. Like, how on earth did we reach that roundabout?
Like, he's like, oh, it's not because I don't love your mom. It's just because, I'm getting old and I want you, like, you want things as you get older and you can't help if you want things. And I have a young daughter, and it just reminds me of how old I am. And therefore, it's really your fault that I want young things.
I tell you, I think if you just want a good plot twist on like human morale, just watch a movie from the 40s. Because there's some stuff that you will never see coming. I never saw that coming. But yeah, Tracy just gets beaten down by all of these pretty important men in her life.
Yeah.
You know, ex-husband, her dad.
Yeah, the only one who doesn't, like Mike, is like in that infatuation stage, right?
Yeah.
Mike Connor or Macaulay or whatever you say his name.
Yeah.
But where he's like, you know, they're drunk and they're drinking the champagne and they go to the pool and they share the kiss and he's just like worshiping her.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, I feel like there's like stages of the men in her life and it kind of is represented by these different men who were in the film where it's like when she meets a man, there's an infatuation because she is very smart. She is clever. She is high society, but like thoughtful and, you know, and so they become infatuated. And then they're at the Kittredge stage where it's like, okay, that infatuation attracted me to you, but now we're getting married and I want you to be a good wife.
Yeah.
You know, he's like, we need to go back to the normal roles, right? Like you're smart. That's all great and stuff now, but we're done with the thinking. It's time to be the good wife.
Yeah.
And then there's the ex-husband role where he's like, you know, you didn't take care of me, you know, like the later in life, right? Where like your high standards you had didn't help me. And then there's like her dad, who's like even older person in her life, who's like, you know, you just remind me of everything I don't have anymore. It's like they're almost like the four men like are four stages of relationships that she has.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like you can kind of see the evolution of like maybe even where Dexter was like at the beginning of their relationship versus the middle versus where he's at it now. It's like it's kind of interesting, I think, the four men and their relationships with her.
Yeah. No, that's a really good take because you're exactly right. It's almost like, yeah, that's nail on the head. I think that's exactly what it is. And I don't know if this is a one-to-one true recreation from the play, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, there was no, but it was rewritten for the movie, but I'm sure very similar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it definitely does. It seems like those are the kind of like the stages of falling in love with Tracy.
Yeah.
But I feel like, yeah, that kind of takes us into my favorite character. Or did you have any other scenes you want to talk about?
I think the only really scene, like we talked about the dance scene and the kiss, I think that's probably the most iconic scene from the movie is like her, and I think the writing is very witty. They go back and forth in like, oh, we shouldn't do this. We should do this. It's very coy. It's kind of a fun scene. It's probably the most iconic scene, I believe, from the movie. Yeah. And then there's all the morning after stuff. Which I love everyone like showing up just hungover. I actually did think that was pretty good. When she walks out, she's like, the sunlight's in her face. I thought that was actually a pretty good little joke. I mean, you know, low hanging fruit. Also thought Uncle Willie had one of my favorite lines because they're all have their hangovers, right? And so he's like, okay, I'll get my eye openers. That's what he called his drink that he makes them.
Wow.
To get them through their hangover.
Yeah.
And he says it'll pop the pennies off a dead Irishman's eyes. And I was like, what? I need one of those. Some mornings. Yeah. And then it ends with, and it was at that point, right, where they're about to walk in the wedding and Kittredge is all, you know, they're kind of breaking up and like three people in a row propose to her or something, right?
Yeah.
And then for some reason, Liz takes back James Stern's character, even though he just proposed to another person. Like, well, you're just so infatuating. He can't help it.
Yeah.
I'm like, guys, have some but anyways, have some self-respect, please. So what was your final best scene?
I mean, I think, I think probably when Connor goes to Dexter's house, that was my favorite scene. But yeah, I know it's tough because there's so many, there's just so many scenes with tough stuff to watch.
Yeah.
But that would probably be mine, I would say.
Yeah. I still think it's not really one scene, but I liked the first opening scene when they're introducing everyone and they're exploring the house. And I think that's like that's when also Katharine Hepburn's character has the most agency for herself. And I feel like everyone just nags her into compliance throughout the whole movie, right? They're just being so mean to her. They're bringing her down a peg when I don't feel like it's warranted. And I really liked her character when before they had done that to her.
Yeah.
So I think that's like when I like Katharine Hepburn's character the most. And I also think probably the most humor that I actually did enjoy was when they were messing around the house and like, except for the 7 sons of 7 sons. I'm not sure what's going on there.
When he called,
Frank calls them.
Yeah, because yeah.
Anyways,
no, yeah. All of those were really, really, they were pretty good. Good intros into all of the characters for sure.
All right, best character.
Yeah, for me it was Tracy.
Yeah, she's the best.
Yeah, Tracy is by far. Which I mean, I think that's to be expected. Like you said, the background into this movie is it was her play, and she wanted to turn it into a movie, and so
it's a vehicle for her.
Yeah, and I think I had read that she had several box office failures before this, so she really wanted this to do well, and clearly it did. It was a critical success. I mean, I don't know a whole lot about Katharine Hepburn as an actress, but she was phenomenal in this. I mean,
I like her a lot.
Yeah, like you talked about, that intro, especially before her character gets really beaten down, metaphorically, sometimes almost physically.
Almost.
Her in the beginning, she's super smart, clever, very charismatic.
Reads everyone like a book. She's right through all their shit.
Yeah. And I feel some of the best scenes, I mean, especially for Tracy's character, or when she's going back and forth with some of these different men, with Dexter, with Connor, especially with Connor. Yeah, she was phenomenal.
Yeah. I agree. I think I wrote down for the 3 leads, right? So Cary Grant, James Stewart, Katharine Hepburn. I wrote to me, Cary Grant, they bring him, they kind of try to redeem him at the end of the movie, right? Like you were saying, and I wrote that too. It was okay, they're actually trying to show, see, it reminded me very much of Mr. Darcy, just not, I don't know, I like Pride and Prejudice better. In the way they do it in that one. Because I don't feel like you spent much time with her and him other than the one scene before that. Here's their interactions. I wrote this down. They break up in the beginning of the movie where he physically assaults her. Then, that's the scenes where they're just by themselves together. Breaks up. The next time they're together alone, he just calls her a goddess, and that she should have been a better wife to support him through his drunkenness. Okay, you're not doing anything to redeem yourself there. And then there's other people in the scene, but he's addressing her right at the end, where he's kind of revealing their plot and how they're going to keep the family out of the newspapers or whatever. And I'm he's done really nothing. Cary Grant is cool. He's the coolest guy on the screen. That's what makes his character work. I was not a huge fan of his character. James Stewart, I wrote, he's the funny guy.
Yeah. That's pretty much it.
Yeah. But I mean, but if anything, he's kind of doughy. He becomes at first he's I'm better than everybody else, and then he gets, then he just get doughy eyed.
Yeah.
And so I'm okay, so he's the funny guy. I'm the only, I think Liz, she's interesting. She doesn't have that many scenes. She won Best Supporting Actress. The woman won Best Supporting Actress in the Academy Awards for the role. I think she does a good job.
Yeah.
I think Kittredge is there.
He's like a piece of furniture.
Yeah. I think Uncle Willie is doing what he's supposed to do, just be a pervy uncle.
Creepy old man.
Right?
Yeah.
The rest of I think maybe the only other big character that has a lot more to do, because there's the moms in scenes, the dads in scenes, but Dinah, she's got a lot to do. But I mean, I don't know, it's a kid actress. I think to me, there's no one else who really, the 3 leads are good. And probably, if anyone ever listens to this podcast, there's 0 listeners right now. So if anyone actually does listen to this podcast, probably get a lot of shit for talking, not just gushing over James Stewart and Cary Grant this. Yeah. But I think Katharine Hepburn is just by far the best part of this movie.
She was She's best
awesome.
one. I mean, I will say this. I'm not I'm, Mr. Hollywood actor. I've taken acting classes. I did a lot of improv classes after college when I came home and did some of that stuff. There were several scenes with some of these big boy actors. It's a different time, right? But performances pretty wooden on some of those scenes, which it's fine. It's what it is. But I think
James Stewart won the Academy Award for this movie.
Yeah, which is nuts. I mean, like,
he even admitted it was nuts.
Yeah,
because but the year before he did the movie Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, which I've never seen, but apparently very good. It's like his big breakout, I think.
Yeah.
Solo movie.
Yeah,
and I think it's like he's like, I should have won it for that movie. They gave it to me for this movie as kind of like a makeup.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it was a sign of the times. I'd like to call it the Babe Ruth dilemma. It's like, for their time, they were the heavy hitters. They were the best at their craft. But like, they raised the bar for future generations to continue to raise that bar. And so now I think when you look at like the biggest actors in modern history, like modern Hollywood, it's a different beast altogether. Mm-hmm. But I do feel like Katharine Hepburn, she did a phenomenal job.
Yeah,
I mean, like,
I think she feels modern.
Yeah, like, she carried that movie. Yeah. Like this movie is what it is, I think, because of her, for sure.
And I think Tracy Lord's a great character. I wish that she stood up for herself a little bit more at the end of the movie, but I think she's a great character. Mm-hmm. Worst character.
Oh my God, where do we start? No, I'm just kidding. No, okay.
I think I liked this movie better than you did.
There was different. There's different levels to this. Worst character in terms of like the weakest link.
Yeah, I think for me, the one I have in mind is a character, not necessarily the actor.
Yeah.
But I think either way, you could interpret it either way.
Yeah. No, I think it's tough to say because like George to me. Again, he wasn't even really a character. He was like a piece of furniture, right? He was a
plot device.
Exactly, right? But like does that go back to how he was written? Because he was not given a whole lot to do in the movie, right? Like he's there in the opening scene, and then like he just kind of like teeters
usually
off.
Pops in at the end of a scene or at the beginning of a scene to like set something up.
Yeah,
for the next thing.
Yeah, exactly. And but like. He seems like he should have had a much bigger role because he is like, okay, when you think about like the core of this movie, it all revolves around Tracy's wedding to George. It seems like he should have a pretty big part to play, especially when her ex-husband comes in and this random undercover writer comes in who's going to have a quote unquote affair, have a couple of pecks. I mean, like, where is George? Why is George not playing a much bigger role? But like every time that he was on screen, I kind of forgot he was there. Like you just, there's nothing about George that makes me want to pay attention.
Yeah, the gravitas of the other two male actors eat a lot of the space.
For sure.
To me, I think the worst character to me, and this is again like not the actor or like the Blands, but like I think it's more of a missed opportunity. Because the plot of this movie centers around Seth Lord, Father Lord, whatever you say it.
Yeah.
He has an affair. Mm-hmm. That affair sets them up for blackmail.
Mm-hmm.
Which in turn, they're going to, do this expose in the paper as like a way to get out of it.
Yeah.
Like, and then they kind of play off your favorite scene, right? Where they're like, okay, now we're going to get back at Sidney Kidd. With this story, right, we're going to blackmail him back. So he's like, there's this background villain of Sidney Kidd in the movie.
Yeah.
He's not, but he's like, and his presence is supposed to be there. The one scene that he is actually in, he does not come off as like super villainous. Like the actor is some boring toast looking guy.
Yeah.
And he comes off very wooden, not like a lot going on with his acting. I think it's a real missed opportunity to not put someone in there like more menacing.
Sure. Yeah.
To set up that kind of like this guy's like doing, doing stuff that like these characters are really that he can really do. And it's believable that he is this evil editor who's going to ruin people's lives to sell papers.
I mean, like
or else
Connor even like that first scene of them, Connor and Liz walking into Kid's office to get this assignment. Connor talks kind of some bad shit to Kid's face. Yeah. I remember like I wrote down a note that like he would probably be in big trouble if
he get fired immediately.
Yeah, like if he talked to his boss like that today.
Yeah, like this is a a wedding coverage piece.
Yeah.
This is not like hard-hitting journalism that requires this specific writer to,
Yeah. But no, you're exactly right. Like, he is supposed to be like this big bad guy who's driving kind of like the whole plot of the movie. That's the entire reason why Connor and Liz are there in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just kind of this dopey little nerd sitting behind his desk.
Yeah.
Like,
so I thought it was a missed opportunity from a character perspective. I thought they could have put someone more menacing,
Absolutely. Worst characters in every other regard of the sense. Uncle Willie, Tracy's dad, Dexter, all of the horrible men that do and say the worst thing.
That's like, yeah.
Okay, the one thing that I really had to bring up about Tracy's dad, because I think my mouth actually kind of flung open when I saw this scene. When Uncle Willie meets Liz, and he is just super creepy old man.
Yeah.
He eyes her up and down. I think he pinches her butt. He asks if she'll go to the party with him and all the things. Yeah. Uncle Willie walks away, and Liz is standing there with Tracy's dad.
Seth Lord.
Seth Lord. Okay, I can never remember his name. And she says, I can't remember how she says it, but like something to the effect of, I think something pinched my butt. And he actually gaslights her and says, no, nothing did. Or something to that effect. He's like, I'm sure you're misremembering that. It's like, whoa.
He's like, get in your place, Yeah.
Exactly.
No, he's the worst. He's just the worst.
They're all terrible. But again, sign of the times, whatever we want to call it. But like, seeing...
Yeah, I don't think he's meant to be. I don't know. There's no way he's meant to come off as like, when she forgives him at the end, you're like, oh, I forgive him too. Like, how?
Absolutely not. And maybe, who knows? Maybe like... Maybe back then there was more grace and forgiveness towards men of like, doing this type of stuff. But, ooh... Most of the men in this movie, worst characters.
Yeah. I don't mind James Stewart's character. I don't mind. I think Mike is probably the most redeemable guy.
For sure.
But he's like also like has the least history with her too. Yeah. So he's just, you're only seeing 3 days of his life. And he's like pretty shitty to Liz.
Is it 3 days?
Yeah, it's Thursday. So the opening scene when he's, I guess like not counting the 2 years prior where they abused her, but the opening scene where they're at the reporting station at the newspaper, I guess, is Thursday. They go to the house on Friday. The wedding is on Saturday.
Yeah.
So it's 3 days.
Okay.
Majority of the movie.
All right. I gotcha. Yeah. So he goes from within 3 days' time to not knowing Tracy Lord whatsoever to asking her to marry him.
Yep.
Yeah.
To save the embarrassment of the wedding that everyone was at, like canceling the wedding.
Yeah.
He's like, I'll do it. It's okay. I mean, sure, yeah, everyone was expecting you to walk out there with somebody else. We'll get to the nitpicks. But there's a lot of problems. All right, age the best.
Oh, number one on my list. The dialogue. I actually really like the dialogue. Like we talked about. It felt like
quick-witted, it's fast-paced.
Yeah, and it's like they spar with each other. Which just modern dialogue is not that way. But it really surprised me because, like I said, I had to pause it to take all of my notes because, one, I didn't want to miss anything. Two, I feel like if you zone out for like 10 seconds, you're not even going to know what's happening.
Yeah.
You really have to like be involved and pay attention.
No, literally the first time I watched the scene where they're in the changing room at the pool and Dexter comes in and he starts talking with her. She's, getting into what he thinks is her problem, and she's getting back at him and going back and forth. And I kind of like looked away and I don't know, I was doing something. And like, all of a sudden I realized we're like halfway the scene, I'm like, where did Mike go? He like snuck out.
Yeah, he snuck away.
I'm like, where did he go? I had to go back and like, oh, okay. It's like literally a half-second scene where he's like, okay, I'm getting out of here.
Yeah. No, I mean, the dialogue I thought was phenomenal.
Yeah, agreed. That's what I have as aged the best. Is the dialogue. I think the writing in it, whether I like all the elements of the story, but the way they talk feels it's like clever, natural. The characters come off as intelligent. It's doesn't hold your hand.
No, it does not. There was one point, I can't remember what part it is. It's in the beginning, but the exposition that they give you is like it's like a picture, I think, of a newspaper.
Oh, the wedding announcement?
Yeah. And that's it. Like, if you do not see that, then you don't know what's going on.
So I had this in nitpicks, but since you brought it up, in the wedding announcement, they introduced Tracy Lord as Dexter's ex-wife, Tracy Lord. I'm like, this is your wedding announcement. You're going to put in there that you are divorced? It's like Tracy Lord, who's divorced to C.K. Dexter's whatever, Hal or Hallen or however you say it, whatever his last name is. Yeah. What is it? It's gosh, it's bug me. Haven.
Haven. Yeah.
So ex-wife of C.K. Dexter Haven is marrying, George Kittredge, and I'm like, well, I mean, unless the newspaper just went rogue and put the announcement in there themselves, I'm like, who is writing their announcement,
put that in
associating it, or it's like clearly just to help the audience, but it made me laugh.
Yeah. Oh. I also this is less so like the movie, I guess, but like the costume and the clothing design's
great.
It's just a sign of the times. Like back then, everybody used to dress so nice.
No, the scene where they're having the champagne before they go to the pool, it's just like her and James Stewart, and she's got that like kind of sequency kind of Art Deco-y dress on, and the light is glinting off of it.
Yeah.
It's in black and white, but I'm like, it's beautiful. Like the way it's shot, the way that old golden age of Hollywood, like kind of haze on all the people. It's very pretty, I think, and very beautiful the way it's shot. And I think I agree with you. The costumes are great.
Yeah.
I wish I could wear like a double-breasted jacket with like.
I know. Like it makes you kind of feel shitty. Like as we sit here in our sweatpants and sweatshirts, like, it's just like back then it was just a different time. Not that everybody wore nice 3-piece suits, but it's like every scene is just. It's just pretty to look at. Like
even like her evening gowns and things like that she's like, oh, I'm just going to casually put this on over my over my swimsuit. And I'm like, this thing is awesome looking. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
I agree. All right. Age the worst.
Oh, you start. I mean, why don't you kick it off?
I don't know. Just the men in her life.
Yeah.
All the men.
The humor.
We talked about it. Like, they're so. Uncle Willie is a pig. Like, Dexter is a drunk. And he's like, I mean, we talked about it. We've already talked about all these men. The men are the worst. Age is the worst to me.
Absolutely. Yeah, like that. I guess I don't even know, because I don't know if you classify this as humor. I think like back then it was probably classified as humor. But yeah, just like the degradation.
Oh, this is a comedy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Like that is a great example of like, it's not the same now, but like all of the bad things said towards women. There wasn't a lot of racial jokes, but like there was one that Liz threw out that kind of made me go, oh, at the beginning, which I like. Other than that, like I thought Liz was like the sleeper hit of the movie. I thought she was great. Especially like after wanting to stay beside Connor through all of his stupidity and everything that he did.
Well, because she never loses her agency. Like she doesn't lose, like, she's got, like, even when Connor's like in the beginning scene, he's like all high and mighty about taking this assignment. And she's like, you got to eat, man. Come on, let's go.
Yeah. But I like, just all like really so much of like the subject matter, I think has aged the worst.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, even, I don't know, if you look at it from like a bigger like picture, like just like the plot just wouldn't, like, I think there's a reason why you don't see like this specific type of movie nowadays, like divorcees having flirtatious relationships, but then they get back together and get remarried. It's just odd.
You say that. I think Crazy Stupid Love is kind of that movie with.
I've never seen it.
Oh, really? With Ryan Gosling and.
Oh, wait. No, with Steve Carell.
Steve Carell.
Yeah. No, I'm sorry. I take that back.
Because that movie's kind of that movie's kind of this movie.
Do they get back together?
I don't know if they like officially get back together, but he basically is like, I'm trying to remember how the movie ends. Yeah. He's basically like, you're the love of my life, and like I want to make this work. He comes around to it. I don't know where she's at. I think she's like halfway there too.
Yeah.
But the movie's kind of that, right? They get divorced, and then he like goes on like a bunch of escapades, and then comes back to it.
Yeah.
But so
there's
probably a way to do it nowadays. But that movie is framed that he's like kind of a pig for doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Where the rest of it's not for this movie, but
yeah, this was just like apparently how everybody acted back in 1940.
All right. WTF are they talking about?
Oh yeah, I got some good ones in here.
I'll let you start.
Okay. The very first one, which for anybody listening, this whole section really, I think, is intended to be like, is there certain vocabulary, phrases, whatever that we don't necessarily,
things
like,
they're using.
Yeah. Like certain, yeah. So like the first one, for example, takes place when, they're in Kid's office. They're getting the assignment. They are first, Connor and Liz are first introduced to Dexter. Connor and Dexter kind of spar a little bit. And then Liz tells Connor at the end of the exchange, you've got a little spit in your eye, and it shows. I had never heard that before.
It's the first one I wrote down.
Yeah.
I have no idea what that means.
And I had to look it up. It means that Connor, you were just disrespected by Dexter. He spit on you.
Okay.
But I'd never heard that. You've got a little spit in your eye. But that's an interesting one.
Yeah, that was the first one I wrote down.
Yep.
The first thing I saw that I made a note of is when they go meet Uncle Willie for the first time, and she opens the little cubby in her car with the perfume in it. I'm like, what is that? There's a perfume cubby? Because she pours it on the rag to like entice him.
Okay, so that was perfume.
I'm assuming.
I didn't know if that was perfume or yeah. Tracy makes a comment to Dinah. She says like, "This is his favorite" or something.
I think it's perfume to entice him to be like. So he's like, "Ooh, they're like, what's this?" And then and he sees it's her, and he's like, "Oh, okay."
So that gets even creepier because I thought it was like alcohol, like vodka or something. I didn't know. Like I assumed
maybe it is, but
well, see. You probably read it for what it actually is. Creepy old man wants to be creepy. I was not there yet. I didn't know that that's what this movie was generally going to be about. Creepy men. But yeah, that's a good one. Tracy and her mom, they said it a bunch in the beginning, but they didn't really say it anymore after that. They kept saying that's queer.
Yeah.
Just when they thought something was weird or odd.
When he walks into your favorite scene when James Stewart walks in, there's like all the wedding gifts or whatever, and he calls it like running a hawk shop on the side. I think that means like pawn shop is what I'm thinking.
Yeah, that's got to be it.
Like a hawk shop. Okay. Not sure what that is. I don't even know where it's in this middle of those scenes, but I think Cary Grant says it to Tracy, but he's like, you got that Quaker spirit, now keep swinging. I'm like, what is a Quaker spirit?
Yeah, no idea.
When he's playing the piano too, and they're talking about the room, and he says, I rather expected to find pickaninnies and banjos. I don't know what that means either.
You just hit that racial slur.
Okay. So do I need to like edit something out?
Maybe it's, well, according to the internet, a pickaninny is a black child. I don't know if that's like on the same level.
That makes more sense with the banjos. He's probably thinking like minstrel, right?
Yeah. Like they were cracking jokes about like how swank everything was, but like this is a dump. Like I expected to see poor people here with banjos, right? Like,
got it. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna beep out pickaninnies.
Yeah. Maybe boop that one out. Okay, so...
And then the voice of doom, you have days are numbered in the 7 sons of 7. Like, that's a joke. It's supposed to be a joke. He reads it like he hates them, for one. He's so angry when he says it. And then he hangs the phone up, and they're not, like, laughing about it.
No.
Yeah. So that was another one I was like, one, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Like, I get what you're trying to say. Like, in the context, I have no idea what any of the 7th son of 7 sons.
I have no clue.
But it's one of the worst jokes in the movie.
He hangs it up like he got him. Yeah.
But they're not even laughing. He's like...
Yeah. They're more terrified. Like, who was that? I wrote down Tracy's dad calls... I think this is when he just hits her with that barrage of bullshit. But Tracy's dad, Seth Lord, good Lord. I can't seem to remember his name. He calls Tracy a prig.
Yep.
Which I had to look that up because I didn't know what that was. A self-righteously moralistic person who behaves as if they are superior to others.
Okay.
And he also calls her a spinster.
That is, I know that one is.
Okay, yeah. I didn't know what either of those things meant.
Yeah, spinster is like an old, like, withered hag, right? Like someone who's like kind of past her prime, right?
Yeah.
Who's unmarried past her prime.
Yeah. And then for like, this is less so like WTF, what are they talking about? And more so just like really unfortunate timing. But when Connor is gushing over Tracy when they're both drinking, and he says that she has a fire within her.
Oh, yeah.
And he says hearth fires and holocausts.
Yeah.
And that's
really... Movie's 1942.
Yeah, 1940, right? So like they had no idea. Like they did not know.
They were still not quite sure what that was yet.
But that was just...
Yeah, the word hits differently, obviously, of course.
Yeah, and just bad timing. Really unfortunate timing on that one. Yeah, that's what I had written down.
I think you've hit all mine, too.
Yeah. I actually, to be fair, there was a lot in the beginning. I felt like the end of the movie, less so.
Well, I was writing down a lot of the vernacular as the movie was going. I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to just write about everything. So I'm like, I got 5 things. I can understand through context what they're talking about. I kind of gave up on it halfway through the movie too.
Maybe it's like the more you watch, the more you kind of just like ease into it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's very jarring at the beginning. Especially with the dialects.
Yeah. No, their accents are so interesting. All right. Sequel, or like what happened the next day. I mean, obviously, second divorce is coming, but...
Yeah, second divorce and the sequel. I mean, I guess there could be. I guess the thing that the whole thing that is this movie is that plot device of divorced couple gets remarried, right?
Yeah.
They've gotten remarried. So what do you make a sequel about?
No, if anything, what I would like... Now, this is like fan, or like mind movie or whatever, right? Like it would never have been made at the time.
Mm-hmm.
But like I would like her to regain back her agency, and that she loses throughout the movie.
Yeah.
And realize that she is great now, like, and that she's doesn't feel morally superior to everyone, and that's why they hate her or whatever. But that like people can be shitty and people are shitty, and then, you should, like, I would like to see the reverse of her arc happen, and then maybe leaving Dexter for, again or whatever, or he admits to it too, right? Like that he's grown. Like I think they could both grow to a place where like she respects him, he respects her, and there's not this kind of like undercurrent of her superiority is the reason for all the men in her life being terrible, right? Like,
yeah.
But I mean, that wouldn't, I don't know even how you would write that movie or like what that movie would be. Definitely not in the 40s.
No, I mean, like, yeah, you that would be a good approach. I think if you wanted to explore, you have a door open to explore like Connor and Liz's relationship.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
I also think I made a note down because
to get another secret assignment.
Yeah. Well, so when Connor and Dexter get together to blackmail Kid, Connor makes the comment that like I'm done, I'm finished. Like I'm done working, I'm finished working for Kid.
Mm-hmm.
After they blackmail Kid, he's done. Liz makes a comment that Connor will only become a great writer once he stops working for Kid. So I think you could maybe explore, like, Connor doesn't work for Kid anymore. Does he do something truly great with himself? What does their relationship go to? But again, the whole point of this movie is to have this romp around between... It's not even Dexter. Dexter didn't even do anything. He's just a butthole the whole time. It's like Tracy romping around.
Yeah.
But like, that is the whole driving force.
The only thing he's doing is trying to protect them by like, all right, look, this guy's got something on your family kind of thing.
Yeah.
I did put down here, thought it'd be an interesting place to bring this up, because it's not really a sequel, but I'm like, we didn't talk about it with Dave, but like, could you remake this? So they have a remake of it, right?
Yeah.
And the musical I thought was interesting for us. It was like another like, and oh my God, I'm really stupid. Not write down what the remake was called.
But there is one.
Yeah. Here. All right. This is where editing is going to come into play. High Society. Okay. Sorry. So, but it starred Grace Kelly
Mm-hmm.
So they basically did the same thing that this movie did, which was cast like just top of the line actors and like the most famous people of the time to like use the star power to sell the movie.
Mm.
So it's Grace Kelly, Bing Crosby,
Oh,
our boy Bing,
yeah.
and Frank Sinatra.
Wow.
And so which one do you think Frank Sinatra plays and which one do you think Bing Crosby plays?
I'm going to say...
And which one do you think Grace Kelly plays?
Okay, between... I guess I would see Frank is... Would Frank be Connor? I don't know.
So Frank is the writer, you're saying. Frank Sinatra's the writer.
Yes.
Okay. And then therefore Bing Crosby is C.K. Dexter. Haven.
Yeah.
Okay, get it right? Yep. Frank is the writer.
Okay.
Because I was see, I would have said the opposite. Because to me, like, Cary Grant is just cool. Like, he's like, I'm a cool guy.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, that's very much Frank Sinatra's vibe, too.
Mm-hmm.
It's, like, very cool. Where, like, Bing Crosby is kind of silly.
Yeah.
Like, he's got his own little, like, twinkle charm, which is what James Stewart has. He's got, like, more of a twinkle charm.
Yeah.
Where, like, Cary Grant's like, I'm, like, the coolest guy in the room, right?
Yeah.
So I just thought it was interesting that they played the opposite roles, but you got it square in the head.
Yeah. I mean, it was a
And
shot.
Grace Kelly played Tracy Lord, by the way.
It was a 50-50 chance, to be fair. I mean, I feel like they could remake this movie today. Obviously, you would have to take out, like, 95% of the humor, or whatever you want to call it. I mean, so much of it does revolve on just really mean men. But I think you could. I think all of the potential is there, like you said. With Love, is it Love Actually?
Oh, Crazy Stupid Love.
Crazy Stupid Love. Love Actually. Where did that come from? Yeah, with Crazy Stupid Love, I mean, you're right. I think it kind of leans in towards that trope of, getting remarried. But yeah, I think you absolutely could remake it today.
Yeah, it would be an interesting remake because what I like about it is like, the one thing I do like about the movie is like they actually are trying to say something. Like they don't let it's just not constant humor all the time, even if we don't get the humor, it's not them constantly trying to do 1940s humor the whole time, right? Like, because there's slapsticky elements and everything, but like the scenes where her father is dressing her down and Cary Grant's character is dressing her down, like those are intense scenes, like that, and then like even like I said, yeah, I thought it'd be a really interesting remake, I think, more so than like a sequel. Even though I think I think you brought up something really good. I think a Liz Mike sequel could be interesting because they could just do a whole new story. Could be trying to maybe research writing a book or something, right? I think there's probably a lot more to do with those two characters than anything else.
Yeah. Well, and like in a weird way, those two characters are kind of like the least flawed, right? Because like Dexter, we all know
they come with the least amount of baggage for the rest of the past.
Yeah. And I mean, like even Tracy too, like, like Tracy's wonderful, right? Like phenomenally acted and all the things. But like towards the end of the movie, if we want to file this under like nitpicks and stuff, Tracy also kind of turns out to be a butthole. Like there are certain things like,
yeah, because that's what I was like, you guys are really tearing her character out and making her less likable by the end of the movie, too.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Like, I had written down, like, one of the things about Tracy's character is, like, she almost seems like this eagle that's soaring, and then these men are just, like, pulling her down, and you feel terrible for her. Right. But then there are, like, these certain little things that, like, pop up about Tracy. Like, Dexter talks about this one story about, I don't know if they were just on vacation, it was their honeymoon, but Tracy got drunk and went and like got naked on her balcony, but she denies it and she will not admit that she did it, right? And so you think like, no, Dexter's he's just being a jerk, right? Like whatever. Well, then Tracy has this kiss with Connor, this affair, completely denies it, right? And like maybe you might look at it and say, well, like maybe she was really drunk and she truly didn't remember. But like there were kind of like some parts where you're like, it seemed like she was just trying to bat it away, like she didn't want to believe it, but she knew it happened. Like that's one aspect. She got like mad at George because George confronted her about the affair, got really upset about it. She got mad at George because George didn't automatically assume that Tracy and Connor didn't have sex. like George went to the worst of like, you had an affair. You cheated on me in the worst way. He was actually happy when he found out that they only kissed. Tracy got angry at him for that, for not thinking.
Well, that's what you do in this movie.
Of
you
course.
Do something wrong and then you blame other people.
Exactly.
Lesson of the movie.
So you can say that Tracy is like starting to replicate some of the behavior that's, brought on to her from these other men in her life. But at the end of the day, Tracy does have faults.
Yeah.
And I feel like if you wanted to explore some type of sequel or anything like that, or even just look at the characters for what they are, cards on the table, Connor and Liz, in comparison, have way less, like you say, baggage. They're just not as, I don't want to say slimy, but just they're cleaner.
Well, they have moral conviction right there. And they don't have, the relationship to Tracy that is what the other men have, right?
Yeah.
All right. Hot takes, nitpicks.
I feel like this whole thing was a hot take and a nitpick. Okay, the first one that I had on this, we already kind of talked about it, but I felt like one of the biggest plot, issues was how they set up that.
Too.
Yeah, they set up that pre-lunch scene so perfectly with all the characters, and then they blue-balled it, and they didn't give you that scene.
Yeah, I agree.
That was one of my biggest ones, because I was actually like really excited to see them, the whole family, put up this charade in front of these reporters, and they didn't. You didn't get to see any of it.
Yeah,
like they did all that work for nothing.
Yeah. No, yeah, that's a really good point. I think it'd be really interesting. So this is, I think, my fourth or fifth Katharine Hepburn movie I've seen.
Mm-hmm.
And speaking of which we'll cover, we probably will cover this movie, but Guess Who's Coming to Dinner is basically that scene, the scene you're missing, right? Where it's like all the setup is there, then they actually have like the meal, the conversation, parents are there, all the shenanigans have set everything up. It's a way better movie, in my opinion. Now, granted, it's 20 years later, so there's a lot more modern context to it.
Yeah.
But it's an excellent movie. Anyways, but yeah, so like if you want the scene that's there, or like the theoretical scene that's set up, Look Who's Coming to Dinner, I think, has it for you. And I enjoyed that movie a lot more. Even I did enjoy this movie.
Yeah.
But it's a more modern movie.
Sure.
It's got something more interesting to say.
Yeah.
About the time. All right. My first nitpick.
Let's hear it.
No, this one's not crazy. But, okay. How old is Katharine Hepburn supposed to be in this movie?
Yeah.
Because she's got a sister who's like 12.
Yeah.
And she's marrying a 30-year-old. Katharine Hepburn herself is 33 in real life in this movie. There's a 20-year difference between her and her sister.
Yeah.
And they have the same dad?
Yeah.
They have this, the same mom? I'm like, I mean, she's like her, it's old enough to be her daughter.
Yeah.
She's old enough for it to be her daughter. I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, they couldn't age up the sister at all? Like, is there a reason she had to be 12?
Yeah.
Just for the cute Lydia scene? Or it just seems like a very big age gap.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. I mean, I guess, it's because especially at the time, I feel like being over 30 and unmarried, that's kind of probably a really big no-no.
Yeah. She's divorced, but yeah.
Yeah. Divorced. I mean, but even Connor.
Connor's not married. I mean,
he makes the comment,
he's 30, he says he's.
Yeah. I was going to say, he does say his age, because I remember thinking, I feel like for this time period, he should be married. That was society at the time. But yeah, good point.
Yeah, that was my first nitpick. I'm like, they're a really far apart age. All right. This second one goes back to the sleazy newspaper guy. So his plan is to blackmail the family into covering a wedding.
Yeah.
The other story that he's using for blackmail is a business tycoon has an affair with a famous singer, ballerina, whatever, performing arts person. That's a way better story to sell newspapers. I don't understand what's playing. He's going to get some traffic out of the wedding expose of a socialite and a guy who's a manager at what is it, a coal mining facility or something?
Yeah.
I'm like, what are we talking about? What this is your plan? I'm like, you want to sell paper, stick Seth Lord's face on there and put, like tycoon millionaire sleeps with famous whoever, and then put in the byline, there was a wedding of his daughter too. Okay, like, have it, or not a byline, but like have the second story be about the wedding, or save that for the week after. Who cares? Like, why does he need a blackmail to get this wedding expose? Yeah. I get it, like they're a hard family to get a hold of, but this must be like the most interesting family to the Philadelphia society for this to even make sense.
Yeah.
Like, what is he doing?
No, yeah, you're exactly right. I mean, like, I'm pretty sure Kid makes a comment about, like, they are notoriously,
like private.
Yeah, and like you like cannot get interviews, cannot get pictures, whatever. But you're exactly right. Like, if they are so private, would you want to blow that door off the hinges and like, just go straight into the affair?
I mean, maybe his idea is like, I can hold this story forever over them, and I can have multiple stories starting off with this wedding. But like, I'm like, I don't know, man, if you're trying to move papers, that's the wrong story.
Exactly. Yeah, especially because if like the focus, all right.
Maybe we're just too much in the 24-hour news world nowadays, where we just so like, everything's got to be sensational and the worst.
Yeah, no, yeah, we are for sure. Like, you're exactly right. Seth Lord, he seems like the big fish that you want to fry. He is the tycoon. He is the head of the household. He is numero uno. I mean, even like you said, in the exposition dump that is like that paper about the wedding announcement, it's nothing about like Tracy or who Tracy is. It's actually kind of weird that
it's
like...
not true. They mentioned that she is divorced in it.
Yeah, exactly. But like she is classified as Dexter's ex-wife.
Yeah.
Like, and maybe that just goes back to Kid as a terrible villain.
Yeah, he's just not a good villain, right? There's like, you could flesh out that narrative. And they can, by the way, in the sequel, or not sequel, the remake, the High Side remake, completely cut that out, which I'm like, that's the whole redeeming piece of Dexter's character.
Yeah.
So if you don't have the blackmail element, what's he doing? I mean, I don't know. I guess we got to watch the movie to figure out, but I'm like,
yeah.
So he's just a dick?
That's it. That's his only driver.
Anyway.
Just a turd.
All right. Let's bring it home. Final piece.
Should this
be a classic?
You go first.
Should this be a classic? I'm going to say yes. I think the performances alone of the three leads are great. I think like their actual performances are great. I think the chemistry is great. I think it's very clear that Cary Grant had and Katharine Hepburn have done stuff together before. I think she is magnetic in it, even if so I think it should be a class. I think it's shot beautifully. I think the writing is witty. I think there's all these great things about it. Like, my biggest problem is like the way they treat her and the men, the characterizations of the men, right? Like none of that I like at all.
Yeah.
But I think the way it's shot, the way it's written, the iconic performances, I think all those things said like, this movie should be seen today.
Yeah.
Still.
Yeah.
Even if now the story kind of makes me mad.
Yeah.
So that's mine. You can say no.
No, my take on it is, I think in the grand scheme of like movie Hall of Fame records and, what should be heralded as some of the best film ever. Yeah, absolutely. I think it should be included on there. Because like you say, it is a collection of some of the biggest names of the time. It showcases a different time, not only in like movie history, but just like American culture.
Yeah.
Now, that being said, does it go on Justin's classic list? Like, absolutely not.
No, this one is not being added to my like top 10, top 50 list.
Yeah. But like, I absolutely see if like...
I'll probably never watch this again.
Yeah. I mean, it's because it's kind of a tough watch because you have to be super invested in it. But also too, like after you've seen it, it's not something that like I'd be super jazzed to go back and
there are
watch.
people who love this movie.
Yeah. And like, like for example, like there's just certain things like,
I'm curious to watch. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No. Like, some of those movies, there's so many movies that like phenomenal upon first watch, but like after you've seen it, it's okay. You don't have to revisit it. This kind of falls in that category.
Mm-hmm.
But I would absolutely classify it as a classic movie, just not on my classic list.
Yeah. Maybe that's how we should frame this. Is this going onto your classic movies list?
No.
Not on mine either, I don't think. But you know what it did make me do? It made me want to watch another Katharine Hepburn movie. It made me want to watch another Cary. This is the first movie I've ever seen Cary Grant in. So it made me want to watch another Cary Grant movie. I've seen a lot of Hepburn movies. Not a lot. It's at 5. I've seen a good amount of James Stewart movies.
Yeah.
His accent, I just cannot get past. It's just so silly. Like, oh, geez,
you want the moon?
It's proud for you. I'll reach up there and get it for you.
I'll pull it down with a rope. I'll lasso it for you.
Yeah. So I will say like that. It made me want to go watch, especially another Katharine Hepburn movie, which I've seen African Queen. It's interesting because she has like movies. Like one thing that was interesting about watching actors from this time period is you can like actually watch their whole career.
Yeah.
So you can see them when they get older. She's in a movie called On Golden Pond with Henry Fonda. It's from the 80s, like 81, I think. And she won the Academy Award for it, and so did Henry Fonda. And the movie's plot is equally as insane as this one. Not from an abusive perspective. Here, I'll give you a quick synopsis of it. It's just crazy. So Henry Fonda's daughter comes to, it's both of their daughters, Katharine Hepburn and Henry Fonda's daughter. They come to visit them, and the father and the daughter have estranged. It's actually Bridget Fonda, so it's actually his real life daughter in it. And she's getting married. And they go, I cannot remember the reason, but they go off on like a vacation. And they leave the person she's marrying, son, with like the grandparents, but they're not his grandparents. They've never met him until that day.
Are you confused?
Right? Like,
it doesn't make any sense.
You're like, you just left your kid with your girlfriend's parents who they've never met each other. And you're like, all right, well, here he is. We're going to go on vacation. And they didn't know. They asked him it when they were there. It's insane.
Yeah.
The premise is insane, but the movie is very delightful. Anyways. But Katharine Hepburn is in it, and she's great. She's like 80-something in it.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe not that old, maybe in her 70s, but like, I think she's in her 50s in African Queen, and you just get to see her at these different stages in her career, and it's kind of cool being able to do that. Where it's like, if we want to do that for Timothy Chalamet, right? Timothy Chalamet, I gotta I'm like, all right, I guess for the next 40 years of my life, I'm watching Timothy Chalamet movies instead of like, So it's kind of fun being able to do that with older characters. So anyways, should this be a classic? Not on my list, not on your list. Think society's list, probably yes.
Sure.
And for me, it made me want to go watch another Katharine.
Yeah, I think everybody should watch this movie just to have some familiarity with it, and also to again just see. I just think it's really cool to see what movies were like almost 100 years ago.
I will say one thing this movie did not have either for me. It's because going back and watching some of these older movies, right? You watch like Casablanca, and there's lines in that movie that are in our pop culture. I don't think there was really anything in this movie that's like, we mentioned Jimmy Stewart, and like Jimmy Stewart. James Stewart. We talked about him, and you mentioned like, throw a lasso around the moon, right? That's from A Wonderful Life, right? There's like pop culture that's coming out of these movies from this time period. There was really none of that here that I was familiar with.
Yeah, same. There wasn't anything in there that
All right. How did we sign off last time?
I don't even remember. Thanks for tuning in.
Thanks for tuning in. I think I said, keep popping that popcorn.
Oh, I like that. Pop that popcorn. And we'll catch you on the next one.
Yep.
Bye.